Hey everyone, Dan here. Gonna try something kind of different. This week, one of our main tasks is to test 2015 R1, and we're gonna be doing this with a new installation of MetaVR. And I figure I'd just go ahead and record the whole process, so hopefully you can learn something from it. Um, now, it's I gotta say that I have not installed 510 before or MACE before this version, so things might not work out. That's the whole purpose of testing. So just want to get that disclaimer out of the way, um, and you'll probably see mistakes that I make and things that I do incorrectly. Don't use them as as an example, but obviously learn from how I overcome those mistakes and make things work properly. All right, so what I did beforehand is I got rid of my MACE documents folder. I had a previous version, and I just renamed it to today's date. That's so I get rid of all the previous data that I had that's running in MACE. And one of the downfalls to it is that I, lost all my data paths. So I'm gonna have to get that back. But hey, it's good for you watching here because then you know how to map things out. All right, so let's start out with installing 510. And hopefully I have all the files that I need here. I downloaded this from MetaVR last night. If you have a downloads account, you can get all this stuff here. And if you have active maintenance, then obviously you can run the program. Pretty certain I downloaded all the parts of the model set here. And we should be good to go. You might have heard me mention this before, but you can have a different model set and run with a different version of an executable. So you have the 5.9 model set loaded. You can run with a 5.10 executable and things will work fine. But when we make MACE, a new build of MACE, what we tend to do is do that in lockstep of the development of MetaVR at the time. So we will actually do a survey of their models and incorporate them into our entity list. And since 510 is what we're going to be rolling with this version of R1, it's necessary to install that version. So I've already uninstalled 5.9, and its model set has been deleted, and we are going to install this one. Now this monitor isn't my primary monitor, so I'm going to get a few splash screens on my primary monitor. One of them is that setup is loading. And once that's finished loading, then I'll drag the windows over. Here we go. Another splash screen on the main monitor. All right, we don't need any demo terrain because I have a terrain server here. We don't need scenario editor. I have another computer that's installing that. So we just need the model set, VRSG, and the required DLLs and drivers. Going to put it into C MetaVR, VRSG 5. And here we go. Okay, and we're finally done. And it should be fully installed now. Great, okay, and let's now move on to MACE itself. Alright, MACE has been installed. Now what I'm going to do is go to Program x86, File Space Simulations, MACE, XML, DIS, VRSG. And I got all the MACE specific files here. Going to copy them. Then I'm going to head over to C MetaVR. There it is, VRSG 5. Paste all that stuff in there. And replace everything. Okay, there we go. Everything should be ready to go now. Let's go ahead and fire up MACE. Let's see what we got. Okay, looks like I'm getting a splash screen on my main monitor. Drag it over once it's finished loading. And hopefully everything's going to be working out right. Again, this is a test build, so if I get an error, don't freak out. It's part of the testing process. Once we find the bug, I'll probably just take a screenshot of whatever kind of bug I have, send it to the rest of the developers, and we'll get it sorted out. But fingers crossed, everything will be working fine. Usually it does. Alright, and here we are. Here's the new MACE. And let's see if the scrolling works. Scrolling's good. Alright, let's see what happens when we do OpenStreetMaps. So connect OpenStreetMaps. Cool. Alright, that worked. I know most of our customers don't have an internet connection, but it is pretty handy. Alright, let's map some data here so we can start rolling. Went to View, System Settings, Data Paths, and I have nothing here, so I got to start from scratch. I have a terrain server, and so I just feed that data over my network. So first I'm going to start out with the CAD rig data. And I know from experience that just the peculiarities of my network, I can't go directly to my network storage there. I had to actually map the drive. So I got my MACE folder here, and what were CAD rig data. So we're going to go to MACE maps. Bam. Alright, so when you map something here, you get feedback down here, and we have all the maps available to us. Alright, let's go to high-res imagery. So I'm going to go to imagery, click OK. This might take a little bit longer to index, not a big deal. It's a bigger chunk of data. So I'll just let that cook for a second. Okay, so imagery is in there. We're good to go. And let's do elevation data. Now I could be doing a lot of this, but I'm just going to do a few things to get this started. So I went my MetaVR folder that I have here, and I'm going to terrain, Afghanistan, and let's go to the MDS, which is right here. Okay, got something there. Hit OK, and I see stuff building. Let's go into Kyrobot and see what we get. Got my CIB on top of it. Maybe the high-res imagery. Oh, it's building. That's why I got it. It's still building the database, so I'm going to let that churn for a bit. Now that I got some high-res imagery of some areas, I can probably get, just take off that CIB that I have rolling here. It's some older data. Most of our customers don't have it. MACE can consume all sorts of GIS products, so I guess one of the challenges is figuring out what types you want to roll with, depending on what type of mission you're running, and what's your training objectives. A good problem to have, I suppose. Scrolling feels pretty good so far. It seems to be loading stuff up off the terrain server. Nice. Well, we could still do stuff while that's loading there. So let's put a JDAC down. Put them on top of the hill. Right there, like that. Just kind of swing them out there. Scroll in, scroll out. Yeah, the waypoint's still there. Everything's looking good. That's still building, so not a big deal. All right. Little technique that I like to do is navigate to my MACE folder, maps, vector. So here's my vector data. Now I could do the file import, and we do have a new feature, and I guess I gotta ask around how it actually works. But we have a vector map data path right here. Haven't really used that too much. I gotta test that out later. But for right now, I'm just gonna go with what I know works. I'm gonna go to roads here, Afghan village. I'm gonna sort by shapefile. Now again, I could have done file import, gone through these one by one, but I find this to be just a little bit faster. Grab all my roads, toss those in there, see what we get. Boom, okay, we got roads. All right, let's put in some stuff for the village itself. So vector, footprints, Afghanistan. Sort by type again, find the shape files, .shp. Take those, drag those in there. Sweet. Okay, now we got the shape files. And that's looking pretty good. Still taking a while to index, but it is a lot of data that I have on my terrain server there. But I think once it's indexed for the first time, I'm pretty much good to go. All right, let's just do some stuff here just for a quick functional check. Make sure that just the basic stuff is working. Let's take some cars, put them out there. Car number 3, my favorite. Okay, so we got car number 3. Let's put some civilians in it. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, holding down Shift, selecting all these guys, then hitting Shift again. I'm gonna click off the car. So we got these guys selected. Gonna click right click on one of the guys. Now I have all these guys selected. Before I move any further, I don't like having MACE full screen. I've seen a few customers do that. If you're tempted to do that, just try to make it windowed. And here's a good reason why, is because I need to use the platform window here. So yeah, don't take up the whole screen with the map. If you did, then you're going to find yourself clicking back and forth, and it just slows things down. Also, I think just resource-wise, maybe it's just me, but when you have a larger mission area on your monitor, it's having to grab more and more data at once. and I don't know, it just seems to run faster when you have a smaller window. Anyway, off that topic, I got my 4 Afghans selected. I'm going to go formation, attach, and attach these guys up. Now, if we ran the mission right now, they would all run into the car. That's all fine and good, but I want them to be in the car in the first place. Now, I could move this guy like right on top, and he pops in. But here's another trick: you can take the car, kind of bring the Mountain of Muhammad, take the car, and then just go swoop, swoop, and just kind of swoop up everybody that you need into the vehicle there. All right, cool. All right, so let's take the first waypoint. We'll put that there. Now we'll take the car, do formation, attach. Let's click on the actual shapefile. Okay, right-click to get rid of that. Cool, got us to the intersection. Let's try to drive this thing to the center of town. So formation, attach to this leg of the road. Okay, that did something I expected, which is make waypoints all the way down that highway. I'm going to right-click on waypoint 15, brings up this window, and we are going to do a delete all after. Go back to here, make sure I got my car selected. Huh. Double-click, that's cool. Formation, attach. Oh, should have moved that over. So we got formation, attach, and I'm going to attach to this road. Sweet. Okay, got us to the middle of the road. Middle of the town, rather. Nice. Okay. You know what? I'm going to put the last waypoint just a little bit further in. Oh, hey, our high-res imagery just popped in. The database stopped building, and it's doing exactly what I said, which it's working fine. So let's click on that, get our waypoints back. Scroll in real tight to this area. Okay. Just thinking about something. Something's loading up. Could be the vector that's loading up. Yeah, I think something's going on in the background. Still probably isn't quite complete yet. Okay, got my waypoints back. All right, we're gonna do a add after, and I'm gonna put the waypoint right there. Just slide that around. And on that one, I'm gonna say to stop. Remember, you don't want him to stop on the last waypoint, because what'll happen, whoops, how'd I do that? You don't want him to stop on the last waypoint, because what he'll do then is he'll get on that last waypoint and face all the way down to waypoint 1. Because remember, the waypoints go in a cycle. If you don't explicitly tell him to stop at that point, he's going to go from this one straight over to this one. So that is assuming that if collision avoidance is off. So let's turn that on. View, mission settings, behaviors, and enable collision avoidance. So it'll be aware of that shapefile there. Let's just make certain that that shapefile is an auto avoid. Clicked on the layer manager, got the layer manager open now, and let's right click on there. That's auto avoid, auto avoid. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Let's do some other things. Let's put a A10 overhead. So what I did is I added the A10, and then I did a control right click, the middle of the town. I have my A10 now. He is in a left-hand orbit, 3 miles. Let's shrink it down to maybe like 2 miles. Remember, you can go all the way across here, go to a right-hand orbit. Heck, let's do that. Let's put him in a right-hand orbit. I'll put him at the top there, and he'll just start going that way. Let's add some Apaches. We'll put them in a racetrack overhead. Racetrack orbit. We'll just have them going up and down this road here. So now that we have that Apache doing that, let's copy that Apache. Go to Mission Builder, copy, make another one, and he'll have the same exact waypoints as the first one, not necessarily in formation. So we have this guy orbiting this way, and the guy orbiting that way. Here, let's have them counter-rotating, just for the heck of it. No, not exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to try to see if these guys are actually going to run into each other. They probably won't, but I'm going to go back to my layer manager, waypoints, selected platform only. I'm going to turn that off. Now I can see everybody's waypoints, and I can see the car driving there. Got well, the A10 we don't have anything on. And just looking quickly at the waypoints, they might run into each other. So let's take these waypoints and make them just a little bit tighter on the inside. Okay, so we got this guy orbiting on the outside, this guy orbiting this way, counterclockwise. Turn select the platform back on, and we just have our vehicle there. Okay. Something I probably should have done right off the bat was check my DIS settings. I am broadcasting over my little network here, so that's correct there. Exercise 1 is fine. App is 100. Just remember, if you have more than one MACE on your network that you don't want the same app number, you want to go ahead and increment that to 99, 101, so that they don't collide with each other. I don't really have anything set for VRSG yet. I'm going to be running VRSG on the same box. Let's actually fire up VRSG and see what we get. Oh, you know, dongle in there. One moment. Okay, dongle's installed. Fingers crossed. I have a problem that only really pertains to me. I have an older dongle, and they moved to a newer technology. I need to get the newer dongle. So fingers crossed. Hopefully with reloading everything, I didn't blow out the drivers that I managed to get to work before. So double-clicking on MetaVR. By the way, if you have an Oculus Rift, Do it. It's awesome. It'll change your life. But we're not going to do the Oculus Rift today because you wouldn't see what I'm going to be seeing. So no, sadly, we're going to turn that off. All right, let's make a very tiny window, 800 by 600. Let's set this up so you can see the stuff that I do when I set up VRSG for the first time. I take smoothing, bring that down so things happen rather quickly. You can make things look smoother between the animation parts by increasing this, but the realism goes down a little bit. Ground clip elevation and orientation, we'll leave this one off. We can set up for screenshots here. And go to library. Okay, that's all set up there. Take the landing gear off, turn shadows back on. We're going to leave that in MVG mode only for right now. Starter parameters. We're not going to do anything with the sensor. We're not going to do anything with sound, so I'm going to leave those off. All right, we don't need the demo terrain, so I'm going to remove that one. But I am going to add, funny that it remembers that from way back when. I'm going to add the MetaVR folder that I have on my terrain server. Going to go to disk version 6, going to do 7 seconds on the timeout, use high order dead reckoning algorithm. It's just a force of habit. Most of the JTAC sims, the JTAC visual is 10, 10, 10. It's just an arbitrary number since it's a standalone simulator. Obviously, if you're doing a DMO environment, you're going to want to type in exactly what you need to assign there so you don't have any collisions with anybody else. Cause all sorts of strange stuff. All right. Okay, I got everything that I want, and counterintuitive, but I'm going to exit. Because I want to save all that stuff. Now, I could have saved a setting. That would have been fine, but since this is the only setting I'm going to use, I'm just going to reopen MetaVR, and we're good to go. All right, so let's hit start. And probably on the primary monitor, we're going to see VRSG start up. Fingers crossed. If we don't, then there's something I got to work. Okay, cool. VRSG is loading on the primary monitor. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to drag it over yet. I'm going to wait for it to finish loading before moving it. Don't want to crash it. Now, I downloaded the executable last night. I downloaded the installer. There wasn't an updated executable that went with it. But obviously you would swap that out. Actually, let me show you. MetaVR folder, VRSG 5, bin. So, got some older ones that I left behind. But this one is, today's the 14th. This was made on the 10th. There might be a new one. I don't know. But, you know, if I hear that there's a bug or something like that, or some new feature that they added, I would swap out this one file right here. So remember what I was saying maybe about a half hour ago, that you can have the 5.9 model set and run with 5.10 executable. Well, this is that executable I'm talking about. So it's just a 8.5 megabyte file. You swap that out, you're now rolling with 5.10, just with 5.9 models, which is, you know, taking up many, many gigabytes. Okay, so I don't have this attached to anybody visually. I want to use this as a stealth viewer. I didn't plug in my 6DOF. Probably should have done that earlier, but hey, we can do this with the cursors. So I'm going to click on VRSG, hit escape, attach options. I see all my entities right there. Let's attach the A10. Cool. All right, let's see if we got terrain. Oh, we do not have terrain. Why do we not have terrain? We got models. That's good. You can press the letter N on VRSG to go between. Alright, so we got stuff there. I probably removed it from the path. I was probably working on something. So let's work on paths. I'm going to exit out of VRSG right quick. Let's go to my server. To station MetaVR. Okay, here's my VRSG terrain search path. What do we got in there? Got Emerald Warrior. I took out Asia, that's why. Not literally, just out of my database. So here's what we do. We put an exclamation point in front of this everything else that I have loaded. VRSG culturals is one thing that we're going to have loaded. I'm going to take this exclamation point, remove it from there. You know, most of our customers, they can roll with all this stuff. That's great. But due to just my testing and engineering stuff that I've been working on, I didn't want to wait that long, so I just commented out everything by putting an exclamation point in front of it. So I'm going to save that. Only Asia's loading. Close that out. And we got MetaVR back up. Hit start, and let's go. While that's chugging along, some of the customers out there that are probably watching this, we increase the time that VRSG takes to load by commenting out the metadesic.clts. If you have a metadesic.clt loaded, then VRSG takes a little bit longer to load. And here we got the village, but you notice that the actual village part is missing. Not the end of the world. So what I'm going to do is go to Mission Settings, Database, Add, excuse me, and I've put under my favorites VRSG culturals. So I'm now on my terrain server, and I have a whole bunch of CLT files here. So let's do Kyribod. I think there's a newer one out there. I should probably swap this out with a newer CLT, but this will work for our testing here. Hit open. You can see all the textures are now loading. So this new feature that we have with the database on mission settings, it's really handy if you don't have any CLTs to load up in the background. If you're out in the middle of Arzagon, you know, somewhere in Helmand, you don't need that village. The village is hundreds of miles away. No need to load it. No need to have it in the memory. And VRSG will load up in seconds as opposed to minutes. Like what you're watching here with the textures loading. So if you don't need it, don't load it. And that's what this mission settings database does for you. Really good feature, saves a lot of resources, and it gives you the flexibility. Because I could, here, let me go back to my VRSG culturals. MetaVR, VRSG terrain. I could have uncommented out all of these things, and things would have loaded just as quickly, but since I don't have a metadesic.clt in any of these destinations, it would have just loaded the terrain, and that happens rather quickly. Cool. All right, so got the village. Nice. Let's see if everything looks okay. F12 in VRSG, if you don't have a track IR, F12 in VRSG shows all your entities. So let's click on our car, and I'm just going to do a quick check to see if we can see the waypoints. Oh. Okay, F12 also cycles the names there. So we got the little red spheres for our waypoints. Nice. Okay, we can turn that off. Let's just play the mission. I'm going to give the car some speed. So let's do 15 miles an hour. You can see the car moving. All right, so as I said before, I should have loaded up my 6-DOF controller. That's why it kind of looks jerky right now. I'm just using the cursor keys. So left, right, forward, back, and then I hold down Shift, and that actually rotates me. So rotate up, rotate down, rotate right, rotate left. All right, where is the car? There's the car. So we can follow the car going down the road. Everything looks okay. So you notice those small little movements in there? That's due to smoothing. So MetaVR is getting the updates, the entity state PDUs, and it has a smoothing algorithm in it, so things don't look too jerky. And if things look too jerky to you, for your use case, you can up that smoothing, and it'll look a little bit more organic. But the thing is, though, is that it's doing kind of a dead reckoning on top of that. So it might not be completely realistic. Funny story, while this guy's driving around, when I was working on the T1A project, we did some T1As taxiing around the runway. On playback on VRSG, I upped the smoothing to like 2, and watching the T1s taxi on the runway was looked like Tokyo Drift. So that's what I mean by unrealistic. Alright, so we're going to follow this guy down here. He should take a right. Okay, and he slowed while he did it. Now remember, you can take the waypoints. Notice how we got the waypoints in the middle of the road? You can shift these waypoints and get them exactly in the lane that you want. Pretty easy to do. And let's see if this works. Can I actually grab it? No, typically you can do that stuff inside of VRSG. You can grab things, but I don't think it works on here. All right, let's follow our car. See the A10 overhead in the wheel, right-hand orbit, like we did. Where's the 64s? Where's that EWT at? These guys around here somewhere. They might be like hovering right over the ground. One quick way to check the altitude is to just hover and hold control. So 6195. What's the altitude here? I roll off and I can look at the bottom, and it's like 6,000. So yeah, they're just a couple of 100 feet off the ground. Okay, where's our car at? Remember, if you get lost, hit F12. Where'd our car go? Let's fly up in the sky, look back down. Oh, there he is. Cycle F12, turn it off. Alright, and he should stop at that waypoint before waypoint X. Is he going to do it? Yeah, cool. Alright, let's get all the guys out of the vehicle. So I'm going to go attach entities, detach all, and detach. Everybody out. Sweet, everybody's out of the vehicle. So, functional check is going pretty good. Guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Let's have them. Now we have collision avoidance on, and I want to see if this works. I'm going to scroll in. Select all our guys. Oops. I'll just move that off to the side. Hit shift to deselect the car, and I'm going to do control right click, and hopefully these guys will run over there. Okay, so these guys are actually sensing that there's a car there. They're doing their algorithm of walking around. I'm going to help them out a little bit and just move them out of the way. Cool, that's working out pretty well. Select all these guys, make them go over here, over here. I'm a real fan of using Control right click during runtime. So it's a good way to easily move things around. Great. Okay, let's just do a quick check, see if these guys can surrender. Yeah, surrender. Okay, go back to normal. Begin exercise. All right, back to work, Dan. All right, so let's go back to our JTAC. And I guess this will be one of the last things I do for my check here. All right, system settings, visual. Now I'm running on this computer. So I'm going to type out 127.255.255.255. That's localhost, essentially. So then I'm going to type in 10, 10, 10, because that matches this, the site host entity, site app entity, same thing. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, right there. Make sure that my broadcast is going, well, that's my Hamachi network. That's something different. All right, make sure that's good, and we're going to hit HUD enabled and enable there. We're going to take our top lock it here. All right, and move our JTAG to where you can see a few things. Let's put down a couple of buildings. Got some buildings out there. Let's just do a quick 9-line. New 9-line form here. A lot of good stuff here that I haven't even played with yet, so I'm looking forward to it. So we'll have our A10 here. We'll have him do 30 millimeter. It's going to be a dive. Oh, we have all these cool things here. Can't wait to test them out. Yeah, let's do a steep dive. Haven't tested that out yet. Gonna have him coming in that way. Final heading, we'll have him coming in 220, like that, and we'll have him do a wheel overhead. So he's come in at 10,000, escape at 10,000. That's fine. Got him coming there. 2 nautical miles is just my rule of thumb that I like to do there. Yeah, just so remember, you know, you only need to type in things if it actually affects flight. A lot of these things are just notional in case you don't have paper in front of you. But you know, the nitty gritty is there. We got the weapon we need, the profile that we need, the location that we're gonna come in and out of, and also the target. That's pretty much all we need. So do an attack with that IP. Whoa! All right, clear him hot. He's close by. Let's zoom out, see what we got here. Man, he was able to roll right in on that. Well, he hit something. Looks like MACE wasn't updating. I think it was busy drawing something. All right, well, let's have him attack. Oh, we can do this drop down here. So we can have him attack. Well, what was he attacking before? 2-story building. Let's do that one. Allow reciprocal reattack. Let's see what we get. Oh, I don't have the joystick plugged in. Let's see if I can do that while he's setting up. Reattack, cleared hot. Might not get it on this one. Okay, so while that guy is setting up, let's see if we can set up our joystick. And I got my gamepad here. Let's see if that actually works. Sometimes I have to remap it just due to my what I got. Cool. Alright, that seems to work. Oh, hey, so my joystick is not moving up and down. That's because I think I missed something. Yep, these guys need to be on. There we go. That allows me to look up and down. Okay, and our 9 line is happening here. Let's see if we actually get something to happen. Okay, got another gun run right there. Good to go. And 1 building's in rubble. Sweet. Alright, just one more thing to check out on my joystick. Invert the look axis. Okay, so that's looking up and down. There's a helicopter looking in town there. Let's see if I can cycle through things. There's our A10. And toss a frag. Boom. Bring up my weapon. Okay, got some rounds. Okay, all in all, looking pretty good. Not really getting any hits off the buildings, but there's some things I can look into that. But yeah, well, we're going in about an hour of this. Let me do one more check here and make sure that I can change the weather here. Refresh the weather. 9 o'clock. Okay, that's looking good. Nice blue sky. Let's bring in some clouds. 8,000 feet. Refresh. Looking good. Let's bring in some more clouds. A little bit more. A little bit more. Let's bring down that weapon so we can see. That was left on the D-pad, by the way. Looking good. Looking good. Sweet. And overcast. Let's bring this thing up. A little bit higher. Nice. Okay, second layer isn't quite working yet. I think that's a work in progress. But that's looking pretty dang good so far. Definitely can train with that. Fresh weather there. That looks good. Let's do some ground fog. What we got? It's our elevation 5.9. Let's do 6,000 feet. We'll do 3,000 feet of visibility. Sweet. Got some ground fog there. That's looking nice. All in all, I think we're doing pretty good on this build here. Didn't really see any catastrophic errors there. And hopefully you saw some of the techniques that I use while I was doing this functional check. So thanks for watching if you watched all the way through. Basically went from scratch. Didn't have MACE loaded, didn't have VRSG loaded, and here we are an hour later and I'm doing a 9-line and driving people through town. So great. That worked out really well. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned a few things. Hopefully I can do this more in the future. Because I said at the beginning, there's 5 different ways to do the same exact thing. And it's just a matter of figuring out which way you like to do things for MACE and VRSG. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.